Now that it has become very apparent that we're not getting an update for December 2021, and a lot of us are concerned if there's ever going to be a new update to Red Dead Online going into 2022, I thought now would be a good time to talk about content from Red Dead Redemption 2 that Rockstar could have brought over to Red Dead Online. It wouldn't have been the biggest update ever for Red Dead Online, but some of the content that's still in Red Dead Redemption 2 that's not in Red Dead Online could improve Red Dead Online considerably. By the way, thank you so much to everybody that submitted suggestions in both my YouTube community tab as well as my Discord. We're only going to go over suggestions that tie into content from Red Dead Redemption 2. Let's start things off with Sedan. More free roam crimes to commit, such as train store robberies, although honestly at this point I'd rather see online content such as the Navy Revolver and some clothes added to single player. That's something that a lot of us Red Dead Online fans would also like to see in Red Dead Redemption 2, because some of us still like jumping into Red Dead Redemption 2 and playing it, especially now that there's no new content coming to Red Dead Online, except for seasonal call to arms, which are okay, I guess. But that would be cool though if we actually got more Red Dead Online content transferred over to Red Dead Redemption 2. But I do like the idea of us getting the ability to rob NPCs, people on horseback and wagons, similar to what Arthur Morgan can do, and even, let's say, store clerks that we could rob. Maybe the stores would be closed for a few hours, like a full game day, before you could have access to those stores again. Bank tellers would be cool, not the bank itself, but the tellers up front. That would be awesome. And random passenger trains that happen to be spawning into the game along with the standard freight trains. It'd be cool if you could put together a posse and go rob those passenger trains, similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. Next, let's go to Redbeard the Gamer, my good friend Redbeard. More random events and encounters. Not sure current game version can handle it, but it was my favorite thing about story mode. Yeah, I agree, Redbeard. It's one of those things that added life to Red Dead Redemption 2. You would be riding around as Arthur Morgan, and you would encounter NPCs left and right. Even though it was scripted, it still felt somewhat alive, and there are similar events like that in Red Dead Online. Duels, people hunting, that creepy old guy that shows up to your camp. But I understand what Redbeard's talking about. If they felt more organic and you could actually do some activities with them instead of, for example, the ambushes that sometimes are escort missions. The same person one day, they want you to escort them. The next day, they want to ambush you. The treasure hunters that you can either buy a map from or kill. And of course, the thrill seekers that want you to either take a photo or pretend that they want you to take a photo only to steal your horse. So there's some of these random events and encounters in Red Dead Online that are cool, that add life to Red Dead Online. But it would be awesome if we would have gotten more of those random events and encounters added further on down the road. Next, let's go to Avery Smartcat. Robbing NPCs, stores, banks, trains, and free roam. That's something a lot of players have been wanting, myself, Sedan, and many others. Owning a ranch, having companions at camp beside Crips and the Doggo, a bounty system from stories. So if you shoot up a town, you have more than $3 bounty on your head. I do like the bounty system in Red Dead Redemption 2 way more than Red Dead Online, because it's based on each state, because there's different states in the game. You have New Austin, West Elizabeth, Ambarino, New Hanover, Lemoyne, and you can have a bounty on one state, but no bounty in the other states. But in Red Dead Online, if you get a bounty in one state, the bounty counts for all 5 states of Red Dead Online, which is kind of annoying. So it would be cool if they did the bounty system that way. There's also several doggo breeds in Red Dead Redemption 2 that have yet to be brought over into Red Dead Online as potential camp dog companions that have yet to be included in a future pass or quick draw. Next, let's go to Mike Lambert. One word: Guarma. Now, this is actually one that could be done, because during the beta, some of us were able to actually venture all the way around the map to Guarma, which looked exactly like Guarma in Chapter 5. Now, if you rode around Guarma back then, you would have noticed that there were some issues with that version of Guarma that would have required some touch-ups, some finish work to be done on it. But for the most part, high-res Guarma did at one point exist in Red Dead Online. Now it's just low-res Guarma, but it could be used for various modes. For example, some showdown gun rush modes, horse races. It could be used for a heist activity, or something. I mean, maybe you can't actually go to Guarma free roam style, but I think that it's a waste not to use Guarma for something in Red Dead Online. There's definitely opportunities that could be used, like a call to arms, horse races, showdowns, gun rush, etc. Now let's go to Max, campfire music. Now this is another thing a lot of players have been wanting. The ability to have the instruments in the Moonshine Shack added to the campfire, or the ability for you to buy a guitar, a banjo, various other instruments, and just sit around with friends playing on the instruments. Very similar to Sea of Thieves. From day one in Sea of Thieves, you've been able to pull out instruments and play shanties, which is really fun to do with friends. Just, when you're selling from point A to point B in Sea of Thieves, you just pull out your instruments, you start playing together. It just adds a little bit of life to Sea of Thieves when you're on the high seas. And the same thing could be said, playing music with friends and a posse at the campfire of your camp. Now let's go over to Dark Matter Wolf, who would like the Native American content. Yes, the Wapiti tribe is supposed to exist in Red Dead Online because at this point, it's 1898, a year prior to the events of Red Dead Redemption 2, and it's established that the Wapiti tribe has been up at the Wapiti Reservation for a little bit longer than a year, so they theoretically should already be in Red Dead Online. Rains Falls, along with Eagle Flies, Peta, all the others. It would be awesome if we actually had the Wapiti tribe up there as an additional town, because there's not really a town up in Amberino. You could have a butcher shop. You could have a medicine man or woman. You could also have a few other businesses up there tied specifically to the Wapiti tribe. Maybe you could actually help them out, get them some medicine, get them some food, protect them from those that wish to do harm to the Wapiti tribe. And maybe there would also be unique benefits, like someone to give your horse or your character war paint up there at the Wapiti Reservation. So that is something a lot of us have been wanting in Red Dead Online for a very long time now, the ability to have the Wapiti tribe in the game. Pinocchio says any at this point. And I agree with you, Pinocchio. I would love to have any of that additional Red Dead Redemption 2 content also added to Red Dead Online. Now let's go over to the Discord. I asked them the same question. Nick says homesteads along with the rancher role. That would be cool because there are ranches in Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. It would have been cool if we would have been able to have properties in Red Dead Online along with ranches. Tokyo 10 says definitely robberies of some sort, train, stagecoach, bank, store, etc. The ability to sell horses. You can actually sell horses in Red Dead Redemption 2, but unfortunately you cannot sell your horses in Red Dead Online. Also adding the legendary fish from Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Online. We do have legendary animals. Why not just copy pasta all the legendary fish into Red Dead Online as well? Stranger danger missions like Professor Andrew Bell, Russian scientist missions, cool rewards for completing the electric lantern. I don't know if he's Russian. Is Dragic actually Russian or is he European? But I understand, because you end up getting this really cool looking electric lantern from Dragic. That'd be a cool item you could get as well in Red Dead Online from Red Dead Redemption 2. Tokyo 10 also says better loot in the chest, lockboxes, jewelry bags, money clips, ability to style out your camp like in story mode, crafting stuff, items like you hang out around the camp, moose antlers, boar rugs, alligator skulls, etc. It would be awesome if they took a lot of that customization we had for the Vanderland camp and poured it over to the Wilderness Outfitters in Red Dead Online, or at the very least made it to where we had to go out and hunt those animals and bring back 3-star variants of those animals, give them over to Crips so that we could get those type of crafting and unique customization additions to our wilderness camp in Red Dead Online, because we haven't had a new camp theme in quite a long time. We never got a Moonshiner theme or a Naturalist theme to our camps, by the way. Thanks again to everybody in the YouTube community tab as well as the Discord for including your suggestions for what you would like to see content-wise from Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Online. Chances are it'll probably never happen, but I feel like that if Rockstar was to do an update like this, it wouldn't be as difficult because a lot of this content already exists in Red Dead Redemption 2 and could be copy-pasted over into Red Dead Online. Some suggestions that I would like to include are more clothing items, not just for use for the Outlaw Quick Draw Club passes, but additional Vanderland outfits that we have yet to see. They could add those to the store. We could also get a whole bunch of Arthur Morgan and John Marston clothing outfits from the stores added to our stores in Red Dead Online. There are a few horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 that could also be added to Red Dead Online. including variations of the Vanderlyn Gang horses, a version of Buell, and a few spots Appaloosa, the Brindle and Rose Gray Arabians. Hell, I would love to have my own donkey or mule to ride around with in Red Dead Online, so they could add those to the stables. The ability to actually sell wild or stolen, maybe even personal horses to the Davies twins, since we cannot sell our horses at our stables. The ability to steal and sell wagons to the fence. Those are fun activities that we could do in Red Dead Redemption 2 that I would love to do in Red Dead Online. And as a lot of you already mentioned, the ability to rob NPCs, as well as people on horseback, wagons, stagecoaches, buggies, passenger trains, etc. That would allow for a lot more activities for players to do in the game, especially those of you that just want to be an outlaw, a black hat, and run around robbing people left and right and robbing random passenger trains and stagecoaches. Circling back to horses real quick, I want more stable stalls. I think most of you do as well. We've talked about this before. We've had a max of 10 stable stalls since the beginning of the beta for Red Dead Online over 3 years ago. And by contrast, in Red Dead Redemption 2, you technically can have over 20 horses, twice as many horses, because at each stable, you can have 3 separate horses, I believe. So 3 times 7 is 21. So I think you can have up to like 21, maybe 22 horses owned by Arthur Morgan and John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 2. The bottom line is we should have had way more stable stalls by now in Red Dead Online than we currently do, especially since you can technically own more horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 if you max out all 7 stable stalls with 3 horses in each stable across the 5 states. That's twice as many horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 as we can own in Red Dead Online. And speaking of other activities in Red Dead Redemption 2, the mini games. Many years ago, we got poker. We never got blackjack or dominoes, our 5-finger fillet. Rockstar, why don't you add those mini games to Red Dead Online 2, since they've been in Red Dead Redemption 2 along with poker since the launch of the game back in 2018. A lot of us have been asking Rockstar over the past 3 years to add additional mini games like blackjack, dominoes, 5-finger fillet. It'd be cool if we got horseshoes as well as liar's dice from Red Dead Redemption 1, but let's just put those aside and include only content from Red Dead Redemption 2. At the very least, there's 3 mini games that you could port over from Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Online. Rockstar editor in Red Dead Online. Now, technically in Red Dead Redemption 2, we only have a photo mode where you can freeze the frame, move the camera around, and take photos. I really feel like this is a disappointment because in GTA 5 and GTA Online, you have a fully fledged working Rockstar editor where you could do the same thing, take photos, have different settings, as well as make videos, short machinimas, etc. I think that if an older game can have the Rockstar editor, then so can a newer game like Red Dead Redemption 2, as well as Red Dead Online, because the Rockstar editor also works in GTA Online. So the same could be said for Red Dead Online. So that's another thing we've been asking for, photo mode, Rockstar editor in Red Dead Online, and a Rockstar creator. I know I'm cheating a little bit here, but why do we have a Rockstar creator mode all the way back from the early days of GTA Online, which has made a lot of awesome community-created content like races, death matches, LTSs, etc. for GTA Online, yet we do not have a Rockstar creator for Red Dead Online, because that would allow us to make additional content for the community. Additional horse races, buggy races, maybe boat races, additional gun rushes, call to arms, showdowns, the list goes on, with all the awesome content that we, the community, could make with a Rockstar creator in Red Dead Online. Satchels, for the longest time, we have had these magical invisible satchels in Red Dead Online. Meanwhile, in Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur and John actually have satchels. You start off with this base satchel, but eventually you can go out there and get various animal parts and craft different types of satchels. That'd be awesome if we at least had some satchel options to choose from, because it's strange to have all these items going into nothing, basically. But some of us, it doesn't really bother. Others would also like to see satchels added to Red Dead Online. At least give us a handful of options when it comes to satchels, even if it's those satchels that you made for Arthur and John in Red Dead Redemption 2. Just once again, copy pasta them over to Red Dead Online and allow us to have the ability to select the satchel that we would like to have on our character. That way it looks a little bit more realistic. Or for those of you that don't want a satchel, then you don't have to have a satchel on your character, similar to other clothing items. But it would be cool to have that ability ability to either have or not have a satchel for our Red Dead Online characters. Boats. Now, I realize there's, I think, only one camp location in Red Dead Redemption 2 where you could actually have a boat. I think it's in Lemoyne. I don't think you can have it in any of the other locations. But this is something else that we've been wanting in Red Dead Online. The ability to purchase and have our very own boat to call in, whether it's a rowboat, canoe, or one of the smaller steamboats. That way we could ride around on the waters of Red Dead Online and perhaps even go fishing on those various boats. I would like other vehicles too, our own stagecoaches that we could customize, buggies, war wagons, etc. Boats are definitely something that a lot of us have been asking for quite some time. There's one item in Red Dead Redemption 2 that some of you may want, but I never want to see in Red Dead Online, is the M1899 semi-auto pistol. I do not think that this gun should ever be added to Red Dead Online. For one thing, in the name of the gun itself, M1899 implies that the gun is from 1899. Red Dead Online exists in 1898, a year prior. So I guess, quote unquote, realistically, timeline wise, it wouldn't make sense. But that wouldn't stop Rockstar from adding the M1899 to Red Dead Online. The reason why I don't want to see it added is because I feel like this would be a tool that a lot of the tryhards and the griefers would absolutely love to use to destroy other players in the game, because they already have the semi-auto pistol as well as the Mauser and the sniper rifles. So why not give them another toy to be used against grinders and regular players? It's just like riding around Red Dead Online. But the good news is other players could also use the M1899 to counter the tryhards and griefers, if there's any tryhards or griefers left in the game. But personally, I'm more of a revolver guy, so that's another reason why I don't really care to see the M1899 pistol added to Red Dead Online. But to be fair, the last weapon we got in Red Dead Online was the elephant gun, and at least I guess you could say the M1899 pistol would be a new weapon. It's better than nothing, I suppose. So there you go. I think that we covered almost all the content from Red Dead Redemption 2 that some of us would like to see incorporated over into Red Dead Online. I don't think it would be a major update, but there's some quality of life improvements here by porting over some of these features from Red Dead Redemption 2 to Red Dead Online that could improve Red Dead Online immensely and make it a more enjoyable, perhaps even complete game than it currently is. It's sad that Rockstar has spent over a year since the bounty expansion only to give us blood money and call to arms and nothing else to show for it, when there was plenty of content in Red Dead Redemption 2 that they could have just copy-pasted over into Red Dead Online and packaged together as an update for December 2021. And most of us would have been perfectly fine with some additional horses from Red Dead Redemption 2, clothing items from Red Dead Redemption 2, the ability to sell horses wild or stolen or personal to the Davies twins, stealing and selling wagons to the Fence, free roam robberies, more stable stalls, a Rockstar editor photo mode along for Rockstar creator, boats, satchels, additional customization for our camps, dog breeds in Red Dead Redemption 2 that could be added over to the camp. All this stuff combined together would have been a decent update. Along with the mini games that we mentioned, blackjack, dominoes, five-finger fillet, and once again, the stable stalls. It can't take you that long to go into Red Dead Online and simply, change the number from 10 max to 15 or 20 or 25 max stable stalls per player. But sadly, the only new thing we get for December 2021 to Red Dead Online is seasonal call to arms, when there was so much content sitting there in Red Dead Redemption 2 that could have been easily repurposed and copy-pasted over to Red Dead Online and packaged together as an update that would have gone over well with most of the Red Dead Online community. But no, Rockstar is too lazy to even do that.